Well. In this podcast episode, I will be talking about my goals for 2023 and the approach I'm using for the goals. And if you like to share your goals with me, that would be great. You can go to buildwriting.com/speak and click the appropriate button. Hello, my name is Oyemichi Nakonam, and you're listening to the Build Writing Podcast. Okay, what are the goals I have? Well, I've shifted my mind from result-oriented goals to process and identity-oriented goals. The first thing I want to do is I want to become a writer. Now, I'll talk in future episodes on what it really means to be a writer. I have a lot of documentaries and all those things coming up. But first, I want to become a writer to myself. And how can I become a writer to myself? By being someone who writes consistently. Not necessarily every day, but writes consistently and writes good stuff too. Okay, that's the first thing, which is the identity. I want to create a routine of becoming a writer. That's the first goal. I want to create the identity of a writer. Second goal I want to work on is so many goals, but one thing I believe is that the identity and the routine as a writer, it will open doors for a lot of other goals. Okay, so I'll be looking at a couple of the goals today, and the first one I have here is kind of like the forms goals. Now, this is what I have to say. First, I'm starting small, really small, really small, and the first 3 months, that's January, February, and March, is the period where I'll be playing with microfiction slash poetry. Microfiction slash poetry slash flash fiction. Most times. So simply, not necessarily flash fiction, but I'm doing poetry and I'm doing stories under 1,000 words. So it could be 200, it could be 100, it could be 50, it could be 400, it could be 500. But stories under 1,000 words. That's what I'm doing. And not necessarily stories. I'm doing. I should say flash prose, not flash fiction. Okay, micro prose or flash prose. That's what I should say here. Under micro prose we have so we have both fiction and non-fiction. Under flash prose we have fiction and non-fiction. So majorly I'll be doing fiction, but I also do non-fiction, which is simply personal essays that are smaller length. So I'm looking at microfiction, poetry, and flash fiction. And when I say look at them, I would really be writing, be workshopping, trying exercises, get really good at it. And then I'll be sending some of my works to magazines that would edit them and give me feedback. So my intentions won't be, get published. Of course, getting published is great, but I'll be sending to magazines that offer feedback, so they get to give me feedback. And if I can afford it, I would pay for some feedback from reputable editors. That would be great. That would be wonderful. So poetry and microfiction, poetry, flash fiction. And then in the coming quarter, I'll be looking at short story. And then the other quarter, I could look at personal essays and really go deep into those ones and writing and non-fiction. For now, I really want to explore the various forms of creative writing, build my own style, understand the workings, and get really good at them. Say, okay, I write this stuff, and this is what I've written. And I do believe that with constant practice and I could get good at them. And I know that if I can dedicate a minimum of 1 hour, or probably 30 minutes depending, but if I can consistently show up, that the effort will compound and I will get really good at them. And what I will be doing is working and editing my work. So one of the things I found that is that it's easy to set goals. Goals are great, wonderful. But what about accountability? How do I set a community for myself? Well, one of this, by doing the podcast, is a way of community. But I don't see to say it's community per se, but I need to put myself out there. Yeah. I need to stop being a writer up in my head and start being a writer outside. That's why I said I have to first be a writer to myself by starting to write, and then when I'm a writer to myself, well, I already write, so because I did the work and send out to magazines, send out to competition, contest, and once I am to myself, then it's pretty easy being to others. You get. So majorly, 2023 is the year where I would explore, I would experiment. That's probably the word explore, experiment, understand, learn, test things, right styles, and majorly all these things will fall under the basics of a routine, which is 1 hour in the morning. Could be four. When I'm starting school, four will be great. Yeah, because I'm starting school, but the time could shift. But majorly 1 hour in the morning, and if I can get that 1 hour, I try to catch it up, make up for it in the evening of the day. Now I do have really, really great vision and great whatever things I'm dreaming in my mind, and I do believe that if I show up and I get to write and practice, I could really, 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 really get good at it. Now I've been looking for a way to kind of like categorize these goals, and as I was just talking, an idea struck me. So the way I would categorize these goals will be reading, writing, okay, and then reading, writing, and then uh others. I use others, reading, writing, others. When others involves send your work out for publication, send your work out for feedback, send your work out for contest and competition. Okay. And that's for others. And then for send my work out, getting published. It could be in a published writer, could be in magazines, could be one of the goals. Okay, that's for others. Okay. Now for writing, I talked about setting a routine and coming write to myself and writing. Okay, now for reading, I found that for some time now, I think I've lost the touch of reading, and I need to get back to reading. Yeah, I need to get back to reading, and this time I'm not gonna just read any crap, because sometimes when you read crap, it removes the joy out of reading. Yeah, and the idea that I have to finish a book, it's just part of me. So I don't know, as much as possible, I want to avoid a situation where I start a book and I don't get to finish the book. So I will be mindful of the books I read. So where the approach I'll be using in selecting books would be go back and think of the authors that have loved their work. No, not just loved their work, and see if I can find all similar works of theirs and read them. Okay, I'll also try to read contemporary works of writers. Okay, I try that too, and I won't just be reading. I'll be reading as a reader, which is great in Trainbow experience. I'll also be reading as a writer. Reading and say, okay, how can I write stuff like this? How do I create scene? And I'm not look. The era of learning techniques and tactics is gone by. I'm gonna write, and when I stuck and I need help, I'm gonna learn. But then I'm also so now you're like, okay, when are you gonna find time to read and do other stuff? Well, I probably won't find the time for that. Okay, here's what I'm saying. I'm going back to paper books. Like I used to buy books and read them and love them and awesome books, But now that I've moved into digital, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna read them on my phone. Not a strange experience. No. So I'm going back to the book. I'm gonna buy the book, and I probably would check the book and then buy it and then read it and finish it. Okay. I think, yeah, I finish it, and I've been leaning on to audiobooks. That's for nonfiction, like books from other writers, history and all stuff. I need to go back into reading. I need to get back into reading. Like it's what would I'm blunt right now. I need to sharpen myself. Yes. Let me get back to reading. And the service I'm using for audiobook is called script.com, and great service. A lot of books are great. That's what I'm using. And I think about $8 to $10. You can get script for a month. But then I'll put a link in the description, and with that link you can get script for 60 days for free, a free trial, 60 days, and just test it and experience it. Look, I've read so much, oh God, I don't know how to explain to you, but I've read so much books. What I use is I'm going to spend money for that stuff. I'm gonna make it count. Spend money for the subscription and listen more to it. Well, later on in the episode, I'll be talking about the books I'm reading and reviewing them and telling you if these books are good and if you should probably read them or not. And then the ones I've read in the past, I'll also be talking about them. And for now, we have three major goals: the reading, the writing, and others. In the writing, we'll be practicing, we'll be doing exercises, we'll be looking at microfiction short stories and, working on the steps. In the reading, we're seeing how we can read more books. But then I was like, wait, not necessarily more books, how I can read more short stories, but then like most short stories are in anthologies and collections, so I could count those collections and anthologies as books too, and you look at magazines and seeing contemporary works, and they'll read them and understand the style and stuff like that, and write, get inspired, stuff, eh? And if you want to sign up for my weekly newsletter, you can go to buildwriting.com/newsletter to get signed up for the newsletter, and every week I send you um stuff I'm working on different from podcasts. Okay, that's my goal for 2023. And it's not, the thing is, I'll tell you, most importantly, of course, it's good to tell you that this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do. And once the baseline of setting time to write is in place, every other thing will fall in place. All the other dreams I have in mind of becoming a published writer, of becoming an excellent writer, most importantly, will fall in place. And that's the thing I need to really work on, to create a foundation, create a routine. And then I know every other thing will fall in place. Once again, thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions, send them to buildwriting.com/speak. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you once again for listening.